Good morning, everyone. All right, a new day here at the homestead. The snow finally stopped. Took some time this morning and cleaned my solar panels. So I'll show you those real quick. Nice and clean. All the snow is off of both of them. The sun is actually out. We're going to go in here and look. The last time I looked, we were at 67%. The batteries are charging. Yep, okay. 76% in charging, so that's good. It's going up, and which means I probably will not have to use the generator today. Like I said, I did run it yesterday, and snow is obviously starting to melt, which is good. We're supposed to be in the 30s today, mid-30s. I think tomorrow's going to be in the 40s. I'm going to try to get out tomorrow. I'm going to see if that's going to work. I don't know yet. We'll see how much snow meltage we get today. All right, so let me get into this video, guys. I watched a video that I thought was really, really interesting. Really interesting. Ex-CIA operative, and he talked about bugging in or bugging out, okay? Now, he was basing it on, and I get this part, okay? He was basing it on, like, your family. It's you, your wife, your kids, whatever. He says bugging out is the way to go. He goes because, you can pick up resources along the way and stuff like that, but and so his recommendation was not to bug in. His recommendation was to bug out. A couple of things I think that he was overlooking in his scenario. I mean, I get it. If you are in a city, if you are in suburbia, small town, it might be better to bug out. You want to go to less densely populated areas, but again, at some point, you're going to need to settle in somewhere. Because like the point he was making is that he goes, if you bug in and you got your couple thousand rounds of ammunition and you have your weapons and whatever food you got and water that you have, he goes, eventually they're going to run out. And he says, and then what do you have? Which makes sense to a degree, okay? But my thing is this. The first week, 2 weeks of a true SHTF event is going to be an absolute nightmare. You're going to see a tremendous loss of life. Even in the first 30 days, you're going to see a tremendous loss of life. And then once you get past that point, and what I think a lot of people don't understand too, weather plays a huge factor in an SHTF event. If it's the middle of winter, you really don't want to be bugging out if you can't help it, okay? But my perspective and the way I've always looked at things is if you find a place like here that I have here in West Virginia and you get your infrastructure in place, you get your people that you're going to be working with, and my big thing has always been, number one, safety in numbers. With bugging in, if you will, we're here. We have what we need for the most part here in place. We obviously will continue to do what we can with whatever time that we have left to add to those things, because I do believe that that's very important, okay? And so, excuse me. And like I said, again, isolation away from high densely populated areas, I think, is the way to go. The resources that we would have, we realize that eventually, the food will run out and stuff like that. But we have water sources here on the property, more than one, and even off the property, there's also water sources. So those can be utilized as well, and again, depending on time of year, depending on what's going on, and all those type of things, those are all factors. But to me, not being mobile and having to be constantly on the move and having to constantly look for shelter that night for out of the weather, and what kind of weather are you traveling in? It's not always going to be 75 and sunny, folks. Okay? You're going to run into days that are going to be 90, 95 degrees, miserable. You're going to run into days where it's going to be nonstop rain all day long. You're going to run into days where it's going to be a sleety, icy mess. You're going to run into days where it's going to be snowing the entire time. And you're trying to trudge through a foot and a half of snow. I mean, I don't want that to have to be what I have to do, you know? And so, to me, if you're bugging in, if you will, and you have a setup someplace, I mean, you're bug out originally, you're bugging out right away to get to your bug in location, you know, your retreat, your homestead where you're making your stand. Now, don't get me wrong. If we're here and we have, let's say we have 60 people. I'm just using a number. I'm just making a number up. We got 60 people here on the homestead, and we're working on stuff, and everything is great. And we got intel that there is a roving band of 1,000 people coming. You can't stop 1,000 people with 60. You can slow them down, you know, but they may overrun you. So again, you have to plan for those things. You have to think ahead. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Where are we going to go? Do we have fallback locations? Do we have supplies in fallback locations? You know, and that's an important aspect of it as well. To me, you have to have other options of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and those type of things. So definitely a lot of food for thought. But I personally, unless I have a location that I'm going to, I don't want to bug out until I absolutely have to. If I can lay low for a time period and let the worst of the worst things happen and then not have to, you know what I mean? There'll be a whole lot less people out there. I'm telling you what, a month into a SHTF situation, I think a true SHTF situation, I'm talking countrywide SHTF situation, you are going to be amazed at how many less people are out there. You're going to be amazed. There's not going to be as many people out there anymore. So if you can lay low, ride out the worst of it, keep a low profile. I mean, you know, out here, we would have a lot of things that we would have to do. So yeah, we're going to be making noise. But again, you know, locally, I don't think that we would really have much of a problem, you know, as far as the locals, because hopefully we would all be working together. You know what I mean? That's the ideal situation, you know, that we would talk to the locals and say, hey, listen, we really need to work together. Let's do that. Let's make some, you know, make things happen. We'll help each other out. You know, will that happen? I have no idea. I don't know what other people's mindsets are going to be. I don't know where their thought process is going to be. You know, I'm just trying to do the best that I can for me and my people. And, you know, worst case, we're independent, we stand alone, and we just don't want to be dealing with anybody. But I don't think that that's the right way to necessarily go about things. If you have people that you can work with, why not work with them? They may bring something to the table, a skill set, tools, whatever it may be, that can really help you facilitate what you're doing and what you want to get accomplished. You know, like I said, folks, there's a lot to it, and it can get real expensive really fast, really fast. So, to me, the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. I would rather be at my retreat, you know, not having to worry about people on the road. Who am I going to run into? You know, what issues, what problems, you know, where are we staying? Is there going to be enough food and all those type of things? Again, the quicker, if you have a bug out location, okay, the quicker you can get to your bug out location, the better off you're going to be. That is my advice. Hopefully you have people that you can work with, and you know, you can do that. That's, like I said, that's my advice. I hope this helps. Still beautiful, right? Look at the trees, they're still covered with snow. But look at that. Oh my God, I got like 8 inches of snow, and oh, the thing hasn't collapsed. Imagine that. Wow, what a concept. I guess those people that said it was going to were wrong. Isn't that amazing how that works? See, here's the thing is, if I'm wrong and I make a mistake and I screw up, I'm going to be the first one coming on here saying, yep, guys, I apologize, I was wrong, I made a mistake. I generally don't hear people coming on here after they've talked all kinds of crap saying how this wasn't going to work and that wasn't going to work and all that type of stuff. I don't see them coming back on and saying, hey, you know what, I was wrong. Because remember, first heavy snow you get, the whole thing is going to collapse. Isn't that interesting? I'm being sarcastic, but to a point. What do you got going on, girls? What you doing? Are we not laying eggs inside here today? You're all hanging out inside there. Well, not all of you, but some of you. What do we got going over here? Nothing else over here for the moment. I realize it's not ideal conditions, girls, but we're going to need more than 2 eggs today, okay? Too funny. Anyway, guys, I definitely want to hear your feedback. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? I'm going to leave you with one other thing on this. The way that I look at it is this way. If we have a group here and we are rested and we are fed and, you know, we're taking care of and keeping our mind stimulated and all those type of things, the people on the road that are exhausted, tired, underfed, not thinking clearly, dealing with a tremendous amount of sickness, we're going to have a huge, huge advantage. And that's what I'm always looking for. I'm looking for that edge. All right, guys, I will talk to you all later. I hope you have a great day. Prepper Nurse 1 out for